So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me set my recording going and I will share my screen. Guys, again, if you can, in your questions box, if you can see me, see my screen and hear me, if you would please let me know. That would be greatly appreciated. And I'm going to just open up a couple things here. This is probably going to be the most personal a webinar that I have ever done. By the end of this webinar, guys, I'm just gonna lay it all out on the line. Okay, I'm gonna lay everything out on the line, and you may or may not like what you hear, but the fact of the matter is, what I'm gonna say has to be said. I feel like it has to be said, and I'm gonna just pour my heart out, guys. Okay, so. Before I get into it, I want to ask you a question, okay? I want to, let's see if I can get my screen working here correctly. I want to ask you a question, but I want you to answer it honestly, okay? My question that I want to ask you is, can I talk to you 100% honest and real, as if you were like my partner, or, you know, is it okay that I talk to you and give it to you straight? Go ahead and select your answer for me, okay? And I'll let you know right now, if your answer is no, then get off the webinar. But if your answer is yes, then stay on. Is it okay that I talk to you like a real and honest person? Thank you. All right, good, good, good. Okay. And so hopefully you'll appreciate what I'm doing here, okay? So we just came back from a pretty transformational weekend, and man, I gotta tell you, I got slapped around a little bit. We spent 3 days with people in the industry that are really doing it. I mean, we've had some success, but boy, you know, to be around some of these 6- and 7-figure earners and just really get to pick their brain, you would think it's all fun and games, but man, I took a lot away from it, and I just hope that I can share with you some things that'll just really put some things in perspective for you. Okay, so one of the things that as I was talking to one of my mentors, actually, as I was talking to one of my mentors, I noticed a trend going on in what the trainings were that I was receiving. And one of the thing that I noticed is that everybody that has made 6 or 7 figures in this industry, they've all earned their success. They've all earned their success, and they did something that a lot of people don't do, and this is what I have to apologize for. You're like, well, Amber, you said you owe me an apology. Well, what is it that you really have to apologize for? And you see, what I learned is that you have to make this real to you in the industry. You have to make this real to you. And in some form or fashion, you guys know me, but I've never taken the time to share our full story with you. We've never taken the time. You may know that we've gone through a foreclosure. You may know that we've gone through repossessions, but everyone goes through that. But I lacked in telling you exactly what went on, exactly what we've gone through, and exactly how we made our success. So that's what I'm going to tell you by the end of tonight. By the end of tonight, I'm gonna have a really cool offer for somebody out there tonight. Because one of the things that I learned is that you have to give in order to continue to receive blessings. So I've got a couple of things. I'm going to give you guys a chance to learn a little bit more from me, more in depth than what I can do on a webinar. But I'm also going to do something really cool at the end. So I want to get started. Let me take this poll down now that everyone's submitted their poll. Okay. And what I want to do is I just want to take the time and tell you a little bit about our story, guys, okay? So I'm 26 years old, and my husband is 28, I think. Yeah, we're 2 years apart. So my husband is 28, and we've been married for 5 years. We've been married for 5 years. And right after we got married, we were like the lower middle class. Okay? We were lower middle class. We weren't really too far struggling. I mean, but at the same time, we were not anywhere where we wanted to be financially. I mean, we had 2 cars and everything. But, eventually we were able to have a nice apartment and a nice house. And we had some challenges, right? But there were nothing like the challenges that we knew that we didn't know where to come. And so basically I was in the medical field. When we got and that had a lot to do with our income. I was like in the medical field. I was in ophthalmology. It was a very targeted field, a very specialized field. And for a 22-year-old, I wasn't doing pretty bad. I wasn't, I was making 36, 38,000 a month. I mean, a year, excuse me. And that's not too bad, all right? For a 20 some odd year old, person, that's not too bad of an income. But we did have challenges. We did have challenges, and the challenges were that one of them was that at one point or another in our marriage, one of us didn't have a job. So we were down to one income. And so that was one of our challenges. We just couldn't get it right. So let's go back to me being in the medical field. There was a reason why I chose being in the medical field, guys. And the reason why I chose that was, simply put, it was because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people, and I loved it. I loved helping people. And I didn't realize one thing that I really wanted. As much as I wanted to help people, what I really wanted to do was give them peace of mind. Okay? What I really wanted to do was give them peace of mind. And so as I was going on and going to my job every day, I was noticing something wasn't right. I loved my job. I loved helping people. So I noticed that I felt weird. I felt different. So I said, you know what? I was overweight. So I said, you know what? I'm going to lose some weight and I'm going to get healthy. All right? So I came across this product, and it ended up being that I got some results. I lost weight. Super cool, right? So I lose weight, and I says, man, that'd be cool. I know a lot of people that can use it. Then I found out this thing called MLM, guys. That's when I stumbled across this thing called MLM. Now, while this happened, I still had a job. But not too long after that, I came down with some health problems. I had anxiety. Right? And I didn't know it. I'm asking my manager, what, is there anything I can do to lighten my workload? And they say no. I say, okay, whatever. Well, one night, I wake up out of my sleep, and my heart's beating fast. Boom, 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 boom. Says, man, that's weird. I wake up scared. Then all of a sudden, my chest starts tightening up on me. My throat starts closing. I says, man, maybe I'm having an allergic reaction. So let me go drink some tea. So I warm up some tea, and I try to drink it, and I can't swallow it. Oh my gosh. Pretty soon, it just escalated and escalated, and pretty soon I felt like I didn't know if I was going to live or not through the night. And long story short, it ended up being an anxiety attack. Guys, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, guys, because this anxiety attack had me out for 1 week. I had an anxiety attack that lasted me 1 week long, and this was my first time. So naturally, I didn't go to work, And my husband goes to pick up my check, and they laid me off. But you know what, though? So I got sick for 1 week, and I got laid off. Laid off, got the boot, whatever you want to call it, guys. I didn't have a job, right? Well, looking at that, and when that happens, what do you feel? How do you feel? Sad, right? But you know what? I say to this day, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. All right? And why do I say that? Well, you see, if I would have never got laid off, I would have never learned about alternative care. Right? I would have never learned about alternative care. And I wouldn't have been able to help other people to cope with it. You see, now I can relate to people that I've never been able to relate to before because I've gone through it. And the only people that understand what it's like to go through this thing called anxiety attack are the ones that go through it. Without me getting laid off and having these anxiety attacks, I would have never have jumped into entrepreneurship, right? And last but not least, this is kind of off subject, but I have to say it. If I would have never had this anxiety attack, guys, I wouldn't have my daughter. You see, because when we went through this situation, we decided to give up certain things, birth control, and we've never had a daughter. Now, what's my point in me telling you this? My point is this. I got laid off, but yet I still had a victory. I still had multiple victories. Right? The best things that ever happened in my life happened because of me having anxiety. So let's move along, okay? So that's my victory number 1. So that's my first victory. We're gonna keep score here because there's a point. Hear me out to the end. This is gonna be life changing, life altering, guys. Okay? So that's victory number 1 I had. So we still had money lacking, because I got laid off, and then I lost unemployment, So now we're down to part-time, one income, okay? Again, we're down to one income. At this point, we started missing house payments, right? So at this point, we've missed about 6 to 9 months of house payments, and we're fighting mitigation. What happens 3 months later? I'm pregnant with my first child. Well, my only child. Okay? Now, to a lot of people, what happens when they find out they're pregnant in this situation? Scary, right? Well, that's when I knew for certain there was no other option. Oops, that's supposed to be a W, guys. Hold on. I knew there was no other option. Here's a picture of my little girl, by the way. It's me, Kelvin, and my little girl, okay? Just had to show you. But see, when I found out I was pregnant, I knew there was no other option. I had to figure this out. I had to figure it out. I had to learn, how are people generating income from home? How are they doing it? I mean, gosh, if it were really not possible, there wouldn't be so many people talking about it. It just, So that's when I knew there was no other option. Was when I got pregnant. So then we did some more search. We did some more search, and I'll never forget this day. It was, I don't remember the year. I think it was 2008 or 2009, and we did our taxes. And see, normally when we did our taxes, we would get a return of about $2,000. Well, this year, we didn't get anything close to that. We had about $208. I know it was right around the 200 mark. And this was really a devastating blow because we had gotten used to getting back about $2,000, you know what I mean? And we needed that money to try to pay off the house that we were fighting mitigation for. So I'll never forget the day We got our little measly income tax check. Here I am 5 months pregnant, okay, with a belly like this. Uh-oh. Hold on just a second. Just a second, guys. So here I am pregnant with a belly just like this, right? And I'll never forget the day. I look up at Kelvin, and guys, I'm getting goosebumps. We didn't have anything for our baby. We're 5 months pregnant. No crib, no diapers, nothing at this point, but we knew we had family. So we knew we'd be kind of okay. So I looked at Kelvin and I said, well, we got our income tax. We've got $200. We can either, one, spend this money on the baby to get some baby stuff, or two, I can try to flip it and make it more. Right? I could try to flip it and make it more. I didn't know how I was going to do it. But I knew I was. Because why? Because when I became pregnant, there was no other option. That's all that mattered. It didn't matter how I was going to make it. I knew that I would make it. So we came to, one of our good friends showed us a business that they were doing. This business was $75 to join. But you know what? We also had to buy leads. That cost $100. So of that $200, we spent $175 on a business. We took a leap of faith. But you know what? It takes more than that in this industry, guys. We took action. We took action. So we took a leap of faith and we took action. You see, on our team, although we had to buy leads, we did have a script that was proven to work. They said, just read the script, you'll close people. Was it a comfortable thing to go through? No. No, it wasn't. But did we do it? Yes. Victory number 2. That's victory number 2, guys. What was that victory? Well, see, out of that $175 and those few leads that we bought, I'll never forget. One of our first deposits was for about $600. Pretty cool, huh? Not too shabby. Leap of faith plus guided action. Victory number 2. So let's move on with our story, guys. So the baby was born and we're still fighting the mortgage company, right? We're still fighting the mortgage company. And so at this point, it's getting down to the wire. It had been almost a year since we had paid our mortgage. And we had to make a decision. My husband either had to get a second job and not be there for me, because guys, we lived out in the country. So my husband had to get either a second job or we had to give it up. Okay? Get a second job versus give it up. And see, you know what? There's more to it than just getting a second job. We realized that if Kelvin got a second job, we realized that it would, our family would suffer. And to us, it wasn't worth it. So we decided to give it up. So that was a really good decision, guys. Okay, we got to count our victories. I already have 2 up here. Okay. So deciding to give up our house was the hardest decision. But I'll never regret it. Because when we were getting rid of our house, we sold everything. Everything in this house. I mean, all of our possessions. I mean, we even sold the appliances, guys. Even the air conditioner, okay? But you know what we did with that money? We invested in ourselves. And joined, yeah, we joined another business. But here's what we learned from before. We didn't just jump the gun, right? We didn't jump the gun. But we found someone, and this is the next key. This is a key, okay? We found someone that knew how to do something that we didn't know how to do. Okay, so we found someone that knew how to do something that we didn't know how to do that was willing to teach us. That was the difference. We wanted to grow. We were still hungry. So we found someone that was willing to teach us. So as we go along and we sell this house, let's continue our story, guys. See, we had made a very mature decision, I think, in letting go of the house because it wasn't worth fighting. To me, that was a very mature decision, right? Well, here's what we didn't do. You see, we were still proud. We were too proud to ask our families for help. We were too proud to ask our families for help. And, excuse me, guys. And so what we did was we had some really good friends that allowed us to stay with them. It was a young couple that were actually our maid and my maid of honor and the groomsmen of honor, or whatever the guy thing is called. And they let us stay with us, right? And, well, they let us stay with them. Was it easy? No. You see, there were 4 adults and 1 2-month-old baby in a 1-bedroom apartment. 4 adults, 1 baby, and a 4-bedroom apartment. And to this day, we owe them our lives for doing that. We slept in their living room on an air mattress. Me, Kelvin, and a 2-month-old baby. Excuse me, guys. We slept in their living room on an air mattress for 6 weeks. We slept on the air mattress for 6 weeks, and not only that, but we didn't tell our family. Remember, we didn't tell our family. Not only did we not tell our family, but we avoided their calls because of the embarrassment, because of our pride. All right? And they actually went to our house, our old house, to check on us. And they saw the notice of abandonment on our door. So finally, after 6 weeks, we let go of our pride and we talked to our family. And I will never forget the pain and the hurt that we caused our family because of us being proud. But out of turmoil, we learned a lesson. We learned how to let go of pride. You have to let go of pride, guys. You just have to. All right? And that's kind of what happened. So let's fast forward a little bit, guys. Let me suck it up. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be getting super emotional with you guys. But, so we let go of our pride. So fast forward to today. Fast forward to today. Not to today, excuse me. We'll fast forward just a little bit. So over the next 1.5 years, we lived with both sets of parents. Okay? We lived with both sets of parents. And we were still pressing forward in our business. Right? We were still pressing forward in our business. But we still had no tangible results. But we made a sacrifice and we went to our first event. Okay? We went to our first event. This was our first live event. And a lot of things happened, guys. That night we met the co-founder of a company. And we didn't realize that he was a multi-millionaire. Okay? But there was one thing that happened at this event we went to. This was a live event that we went to. And the biggest thing that happened is that we met real people. Not only just the co-founder that we ended up having lunch with, right? Not just the co-founder, not just the leaders, but what we got to see is firsthand success. We got to see firsthand success. And what did that do? What did that do for us? See, we didn't have tangible money, but now we saw tangible results from other people. So that boosted us to keep going. All right, so that's the next victory, guys. We made a sacrifice, we learned our lesson, and we networked, and are to this day still friends with a multi-millionaire. Now, what does that mean? Number-wise, nothing. But what it means is, they have this saying, the 5 people that you hang around the most is what you become. If you want to become successful, you have to surround yourself by successful people. Period. There's no other way around it. So let's fast forward a little bit more. So at this point, we had got some success. At this point, we had, I had made a couple $1,000 sales, here and there. I made $500 here or there, $100 here or there. But see, here's the problem. It wasn't consistent. It wasn't consistent, and I was building my business in a way that was 100% Amber oriented. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by having a business that was 100% Amber oriented? You see, what I mean is if Amber didn't work, Amber didn't make money. And so what ended up happening, guys? I was working 12 to 14 hours a day. And at home on the computer, and I was a quote-unquote stay-at-home mom. Guys, there's a reason why I'm sharing all this with you. Just hang tight, okay? Just hang tight. So I'm working 14 hours a day, and at this point we had our own apartment. It was a 1-bedroom apartment, and it had like a den, I guess is what it's called. I used the den for my office. And I'll never forget one night. See, there's something wrong with having this kind of business. There's something wrong when you have a 100% you-oriented business where you have to work 12 to 14 hours a day. There's something wrong with that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you see, I was so focused on the lack of money and the lack of success and the lack of us not being where we want it to be, that it pushed me back. It pushed us backwards. So it was like I was taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back, right? And so I'll never forget what happened one night. One night, my little girl, she's wanting to, she's wanting to hang with mommy because I'm working on the computer 12 to 14-hour shifts. And like it was to the point that I didn't go to the bathroom, guys. You know what I mean? I'm holding it. I wasn't eating, but I wasn't thinking about that. All I was thinking about was how can I progress my business? How can I progress my business? How can I progress my business to get us out of this situation? But you see, my judgment was clouded. My judgment was clouded. So my little girl, I'll never forget. She says, "Mommy, she wants to hang out with me." And I snapped at her. I didn't do anything outlandish. But I said something like, "Gosh, what is it? What do you want?" And I had never done anything like that before. And it was at that moment when I saw my daughter's face, I said, I can't do it like this anymore. I can't do it like this anymore. Here's the next victory, guys. If that didn't happen, I could have done one of two things. I could have kept on doing what I was doing, or I could have looked for a better way. That's when I looked for a better way. All right? And I promised myself I would never do that again. So because of that, we started to learn about this thing called leverage in our business. I didn't spell that right, guys. I didn't know the true definition of leverage. You see, the true definition of leverage is that a business still churns with or without you. to an extent, okay? And so here I was trying to do these free marketing methods, these free this free that, and I'm working my butt off to get minimal results. And then I came across this thing, this method of traffic and list building. Because see, that's what I realized. I realized at that point, gosh, I need something to build a list. I need some kind of way to build a list, because that's when I learned that it was an asset. So I plugged into this traffic method, and it was the toughest decision, guys. It was the toughest decision. Because remember, we're making money, but it wasn't consistent. Okay? And another challenge that we had was that we had money coming in, but we didn't have enough that we could immediately reinvest. So the little money that we did make, we had to use it for the family. So then I learned about true leverage, and I learned this traffic generation strategy, and it was tough because it wasn't free. It cost me a whopping $35. It cost me $35. So we plugged in this marketing method, this $35 marketing method. We made the sacrifice, and lo and behold, I had built my list by like 100 people, and I also made some money off of it. But you know what was best of all? Was that while I made that little bit of money, and while I got those subscribers, you know what was best of all about it? It was the fact that I did that while I was spending true time with my family. That was the most important to me. I had experienced true leverage for the first time. Now, was the money I made a lot? No, it was about $7. But you know what? It didn't matter, because did I work for that $7? Not really. That's when I started to learn the true power of leverage, guys. So, this isn't really a webinar about me training on traffic or me training on anything. Guys, this is the deepest, most emotional webinar I have ever done in my life, because I want you to dig deeper. Because you see, we realized that in this industry, there are certain things outside of what you think that really makes a successful person. Okay? So I have a couple of points that I hope that you got out of this. Here are my points that I hope you got. Point number 1, stuff happens. Stuff happens and it sucks. Okay? There is no way around it. You can't control it, so stop trying to. The only thing you can do one of two things. You can have option A. You can let it consume you day in and day out, and you can whine and moan and say, woe is me. Or you can reflect, learn, and look for a victory. Because in every bad situation, there's always a victory. Let me fast forward you to about 3 months ago. Now at this point, we had money coming in consistently, and it was great. And now we're learning this, and we have money coming in from the point that my husband was able to quit his job, and we officially were a stay-at-home family. What happens? We lost thousands and thousands of dollars income overnight. As a matter of fact, we were expecting like a couple $1,000 checks coming in that Monday. Right? But you know what? As scary as that was, because guys, this was our main income. This was our main income, and we kind of got laxed in our other methods that we were doing, so we weren't pushing to make more money with that other method. We were just milking the easy money, because it was easy money at that point. But it just vanished. Gone. Just like that. And it was scary. It was scary because we've got a house now. We've got a house. And if we miss a payment, we're out of the house. So it was this weird, eerie feeling that we had. We could have done one or two things. Pouted, let it consume us and do nothing, or we could move forward, learn, and look for the victory. You see, guys, there actually was a victory in this situation. Although many, many lives were affected by what happened, there is a victory in what happens. Because you see, because this happened, our back was against the wall. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go backwards anymore. The only way we could go was forward. So we let go. We shook it off, and we regrouped. We says, you know what? Let's reflect, learn, and look for a victory. How can I be better to make sure that this doesn't happen again? How can we be better as a family? How can we be better as parents? And how can we be better as entrepreneurs to protect ourselves and anyone else? This pain that we felt, guys, the pain that we felt from losing this income and almost losing everything, we said, God, we have to make sure no one else feels this pain. We had to make sure of that. So what did we do? Well, I put my thinking cap on, guys. Because you see, for about 6 months prior to this, I had been telling people what I learned about building a list. I've been telling people about looking for true assets in life, true assets in their business. The true asset is their list. So I put my thinking cap on, and I said, you know what? I need to share with people how I'm building this traffic. What did I do? I started training. I said, you know what? I'm going to get out of my own way, and I'm going to stop being a perfectionist and saying, man, this has to be perfect before I can offer anyone help. I am only human. You guys asked me to be human with you at the beginning of the webinar. You gave me permission to be a human and tell you like it is. I'm going to tell you like it is right now, guys. As you are building your business, there is a certain order that you must build your business. And it's quite frankly very simple. You need to focus on traffic, building a list, and then your offer. So right now, if you're on this call right now or you're watching this video right now, to prevent this from ever happening to you, I beg and I plead, go in this order. Focus on learning traffic, focus on building your list, then build whatever offer you have. You'll be a much better person for it. You'll be building on such a better platform, a foundation for success. Sorry guys, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. So that was my point. I kind of got off point. But the point is there is always a victory, but you have to open your eyes to it. So when crap happens, when stuff happens, and it's sucking for you right now, here's what I do. Take 5 to 10 minutes and cry your heart out. Woe is me. Oh my gosh, this isn't fair. 5 to 10 minutes, that's it. Then you suck it up and you say, you know what? Let it go. I have to move forward. And you reflect, learn, and look for that victory. Because you better believe there's a victory around the corner for every time something crappy happens to you. There is. That defines your character. Things like this, things like what we've gone through in our business will define your character. And I promise you, every person that has made a dime online has gone through something like this. Every person that's made 6 figures, 7 figures online, they have earned their success. They have worked for it, I promise you. So anytime you see any of those push button, hypey, crappy softwares, remember, that is not your answer. It might be a tool for you, but it's not your answer. The bottom line is it's you. It's you. You know, guys, here's what I don't understand. People have dropped $40,000 on a college education, a college degree that they never use. Or maybe they'll use it, but they're still at the mercy of a job. But then when it comes to their online business, so they spend $40,000 to make about $80,000 a year or $100,000 a year. I don't know any profession that you can make that much in a secular world without investing. But then people say, oh, I want to generate income from home. I want to generate income online. Oh my gosh, it costs $1,500. I'm not going to do it. It must be a scam. I don't get it. I don't get it. Guys, that does not make sense. Okay? This is not a home-based hobby. It's not a home-based hobby. It is a home-based business. You have to become a student of the business. Period. To protect yourself, to set yourself up for some success. Now, let me ask you guys something. I have another question for you. Okay? Will you promise me that when crap happens, you will always look for the victory in every situation? Guys, I have poured my heart out to you. I have poured my heart out to you tonight. I need you to promise me that you will always look for the victory in every situation. I don't think I've ever heard anyone be as passionate as I'm trying to be with you guys tonight. So meet me halfway and press the button and promise me that you will look for the victory in every situation that you go through. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. You don't know how much that means to me. You don't know how much that means to yourself. You really don't, guys. So here's the next thing I learned. All right? Is that really... Let me close this out. Hold on just a second. So the next thing that I learned is that your lack of success, or what you think is a lack of success, really, it just means that there's something you haven't learned yet. All right? That's all it means. It's just something you haven't learned yet. That's all it means. And see, when you think of it that way, instead of saying, I can't do this, when you say, oh, dog, I messed up, but you know what? There's something that I hadn't learned yet. You see, that's what we realized as we were going through these challenges. We'd have a little bit of success, and then it go away. And we have more success, and then it go away. And even with this situation, when we were making a nice amount of money, there was something that we hadn't learned. That's why it happened. And you know what? Because of that, what did we learn? We learned to focus on what really matters in our business and with our family. We learned to focus on the deeper things. So I'm going to ask you another question. Do you agree with me, or can you agree with me, that if you quote unquote fails, it means that you just haven't learned something yet? Can you agree with me on that right now? And just say, you know what? It's just, I haven't got it yet. Guys, I promise you, if you have that mindset, you are setting yourself up for success. You're giving yourself a chance. So I want you to get rid of that I can't right now. Get rid of it out of your vocabulary. Get rid of it. And say, you know what? I just haven't learned it yet. Or I just haven't found what works for me yet. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So I'm moving on. So one thing that I learned is that there takes some personality traits to make it in this industry. You have to have a few personality traits. See, it's more than just the push button software. It's more than just the super cool training. It's more than just the super cool traffic method. No. Guys, you have to have these characteristics, and you have to be able to have vision. You have to have humility. And you have to be hungry. See, this can't be just something that you need. Everyone needs more money. But you ever heard the saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make them drink? They need the water, but it has to be something that you want. It has to be something that you want. Because see, here's the difference. Because there are some people that have tons of money that jump in this industry and they don't make it. Why? It's because they don't want it. Then you have other people that have tons of money and they make more and more millions. Why is that? It's because they want it. They don't need it, but they want it. You have people that have nothing. Literally nothing. They need it, but they want it even more. Is that making sense to you guys? I hope it is. I hope that's making sense to you guys. Let me see if I have a question. All right, so I have one more question for you. Well, not one more. I think I've got a couple more. But after tonight, will you reflect on your failures and be determined to find the victory? Reflect on everything that you used to call a failure. And you say, you know what? Here's the good that came out of it. Here's the good that came out of it. And then from here forward, whenever you fumble, whenever you fall, look back and you say, you know what? That just gave me a chance to make me stronger. That just gave me a chance to make myself stronger. Awesome. So what's the next point that you have to absorb, guys? Point number 3 is you have to get out of your own way. You must get out of your own way. What do I mean? Stop overcomplicating crap. Bottom line. And as I'm pointing my finger at you, I'm pointing it right back at me because I am the queen of overcomplicating things, guys. I'm the queen of it. But now what I'm going to tell you is the reasons why people fail. I'm going to tell you why people fail. People fail in this industry for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to get some tangible reasons why people fail, but I'm also going to go into some non-tangible reasons why people fail. All right? So number 1, people fail because lack of speedy results. What do I mean by lack of speedy results? Well, it's just proven that if you don't see results in 60 to 90 days, most people will quit. Most people will quit if they don't see results in 60 to 90 days. And so what happens is they get so caught up, they put themselves in the way, and they say, oh, I can't this, I can't afford this. Guys, do you realize, just imagine if 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, when we were first struggling, if we had got out of the way and spent $35 on this one traffic method, do you realize that we wouldn't have had to go through a lot of the pain that we went through? But we were so focused in our way to not be creative of how we could generate just a little bit of income to get some results that we quit, that we could have quit. Another reason why people fail is that they look for an exact how-to. They look for an exact how-to. They say, Amber, what did you do? I want to know step by step. Sorry, guys, it doesn't work that way. So here's the problem, is that everyone's different. So exact how-tos don't work. They don't. I'm sorry. They don't work. Everyone learns different. Everyone's lifestyle is different. So don't worry. I'm going to give you a solution to that in a second. Okay? Number 3, people spend more money on an opportunity. They spend more money on the opportunity than they do in building their asset. And hopefully by now, guys, you see that your asset in your business is your list. So people, they focus more on, it's like they're jumping ahead of themselves. Remember the order: traffic, list, offer. Whether your offer is a biz op, whether your offer is a product, it doesn't matter what it is. You're not going to make any money if you don't have anyone to look at it, right? So that's what you got to focus on. Next thing that they do is people are hopeful versus confident. This is a deep one, guys. I'm about to get knee deep on you on this one. Oops. Confident. All right. Hopeful versus confident. They hope things will work. Instead of being confident in the decision that they make, and you say, and then saying, you know what? I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work some kind of way. All right. The fifth thing is they don't understand the power of true leverage. They don't understand it. We didn't understand it. We thought leverage was two who get two, right? Like so many biz ops say. That's not the true power of leverage. Why in the world would you let someone else control your money? Now, two who get two, that's bonus money. But I would never solely depend on that. I'll never do that. Thing number 6 is the lack of support. Lack of support in community. Okay? And I say that because, you see, when you don't have someone that is in your same situation or has the same interest of you, it gets really lonely. It gets really lonely really quick. And here's what people do. They say, oh, I'm an online marketer. So they try to do everything themselves. And then when they don't get the results they want, sometimes you have to talk it through with somebody that can understand. But you can't go to your neighbor or your person that you work with. They're not like us. We are of a different breed, you know? And so we have to have that support and that community to constantly to constantly surround ourselves with. And that's a huge reason why people fail. They don't plug themselves into the community. Some kind of community. I don't care what it is. If it's a Skype community, I don't care. They don't go to events. Guys, if you ever have it in your power to go to some kind of event, you need to go. If you ever want to be successful. I have not met one person. I'm being dead serious here, guys. I have never met one person that has become successful without, number 1, going to events, or number 2, working on themselves. You know, Abraham Lincoln had a saying. Let me go here. I looked it up online to make sure I told you the right thing, right? He had a saying. He says, if I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. You know what that means? What that means is that you have to spend time working on yourself. You have to work on yourself more than you do your business. That means, yes, you might have to go to a bookstore. You might have to learn about some financial education. You know what I mean? But you see, when you work on yourself, when you read books, when you go to events, when you plug yourself into webinars, which you guys are doing right now, okay? When you plug yourself in with webinars, when you're doing that, you're working on yourself. You have to work on yourself more than you do work on your business. All right? So here's your solution to these problems, right? Lack of speedy stats and speedy results. Number 1, as you build your business, look for things that pay now. Okay? First, look for things that pay now, and then also look for things that pay residually. Okay? This is where a lot of people mess up, is they try to build their residual, and you see residual is something that is small and it grows over time. But you need money now. Right now. Okay? The next thing you want to do is plug into methods that give results now. No matter what you're doing. Plug into things that will pay you now, and plug into traffic that will pay you now. Start with that. And then as you're getting results, backtrack and build residual traffic. Maybe then you want to get into blogging or SEO or all that other stuff. But see, that stuff kind of takes time if you don't really know what you're doing, right? So why not plug into something that'll give you instant results, that'll keep you instantly motivated, that'll keep you instantly going, okay? And let me make sure I don't have any more He's here. I need to back up and ask you a question. I want you this is how you make leaps and bounds, is you have to tell yourself you will do a little bit better than you did yesterday. So I want to ask you, will you strive to do a little bit better than you did yesterday in some aspect of your life? I don't care what it is. If you smoke a pack of cigarettes, try to do a little bit better by only smoking half a pack of cigarettes, right? If you don't read any books, make yourself a promise to read a book for 5 minutes, right? I don't care what it is. In some aspect of your life, you have to do a little better than you did yesterday. That is awesome. You guys are rocking it out right now, guys. You guys are keeping me pumped. You guys are keeping me hyped. Seriously. All right. Another thing that you can do is learn principles. Focus on learning principles instead of the exact how-to. Learn the principles. What do I mean? It's okay to model or copy people, okay? But you also want to learn the principles behind it. Why does this work? Because when you learn why it works, see, marketing is kind of sometimes, especially online, sometimes it can be an evolutionary thing. So if you learn the exact how-to and something changes, you're stuck. But if you know why something works a certain way, you learn the principle, you'll always be fine. You'll always be fine. And another huge key to success, and this is really simple, guys. This one is super duper simple. All you have to do is be willing to do what most people won't do. I'm going to repeat that. Be willing to do what most people won't do. That's a pretty deep thing to say. Think about it. There's a 95% failure rate in this industry. Is it because everything's a scam? Nope. You want to know why there's a 95% failure rate? It's because here is your comfort zone. Here is success. Right? People stay in their comfort zone, they're not willing to reach out for success. That's it. If you make it a point to step out of your comfort zone a little bit every day, you're going to look back and be more successful than ever before, I promise you. So I have one last question for you. One last question for you. Are you ready to learn and write your own success story? Are you ready for that? What do you think? You know what? I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm so ready, guys. So with that being said, guys, I want to finish this off with one last thing. You see, as I was talking to one of my mentors, Dagan Smith, I met the guy in person, and not only him, Mark Hoverson, 7-figure earner. Guys, these are 7-figure earners. You know what they all said? They said, you know what? It's selfish not to tell your story. And that's why I have to apologize to you. Because you see, your story might be the very thing that inspires someone to change their life in some way. But when you hold that story back, you don't give them a chance. And so, guys, that's why I apologize to you. But hopefully now, you're more comfortable with me. You know a little bit more about me. You know what we've gone through. You've seen our success. And hopefully this will give you that extra nudge that you need to be successful in life. So with that being said, guys, if you ever want to get to work with us a little more, get to work with us a little bit closer, there was one thing that I was kind of shy about too. And I was really shy about creating products and putting out training. Because why? Because Amber is a perfectionist, and I'm scared. It's got to be right. But you know what they also told me? My mentors, is they said, you know what, Amber? They said, you've got an incredible gift. They said, I have an incredible gift to teach people, and it wouldn't be right of me. It wouldn't be fair of me to at least not give you an opportunity to learn how to work with me or to learn more from what I can give you in an hour webinar or hour training. So I've been working on a couple things, guys, and I want to give you this opportunity to take the chance to work with us and to learn a little bit more about what we're doing. So we've got a couple of things going on. The first thing that I have here is I've put together this exact traffic and list building model. I've put together a training that you can get the best of both worlds, and we call it hybrid marketing training. And in this training, it's a few hours of content, and it's got some really good benefits that you can get a chance to take advantage of. Now, we also have a coaching program, which we've had some people take advantage of, and I'm only human, right? So that is limited. But if you really want to take it to the next level, number one, we have a coaching program that we have room for a couple more people at a time. This is not something that I will be taking a bunch of people on. You can ask my coaching students now that I like to keep it personal, and I like to be able to help you as much as possible. So if you're interested in anything like that, there is a process that you need to go through. First thing would be to send us an email at jones@successforallbiz.com. Send us an email and tell us you're interested in our coaching. If you're interested in getting into our group, our very, very, very small group coaching. We also have a couple of done-for-you options. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you something that everyone on this webinar, there's no reason why you can't get your hands on this. Guys, what I'm doing is I put together a couple of things, okay? Number one, I put together what I call the down and dirty list building strategy. This is the exact methods that I've used to build my list and actually feel and taste true leverage, guys. Next thing I did is I put together a traffic and list building explosion report. Guys, these are some of the sneakiest list building methods I've ever seen in my life. Guys, there's like this community of traffic that most people don't know about. The ultimate I am dictionary. You get to learn the lingo of internet marketing, guys. There's no more walking around like a deer with the headlight on. The deer in the headlights, okay? I also put together my go-to traffic resource guide. This is about a $27 value, guys. This is some of the exact people that I get my traffic from, the exact resources. I'm also putting together what's called a list building toolkit. We're going to give you 1 year of hosting with HostGator. You can compare it to HostGator. It's premium web hosting. Guys, that costs you $60 a year, easy, on the low end. We're also going to give you a customizable blog with optimized press on it. This will help you create squeeze pages really quick and really easily, guys. Now, I'm also going to do a bonus. As you can see, you can get access to it. I'll explain this a little later, okay? But there's actually a bonus here. If you order this before this timer up here, see there's a timer up here. Let me scroll up. You see that timer right there, guys? If you order this before the timer is up, I'm going to let you have a couple of bonuses, guys. Over the weekend, like I said, we spent 3 days with just 6, 7, and even I think there was an eight-figure business owner that we hung out with this weekend, which is like crazy. Well, we got to interview some of these people. Kelvin did a great job. Kelvin stepped out of his comfort zone and interviewed these guys, and guys, the content is priceless. Literally, those tickets had a value of $13.98. I'm also going to do a VIP webinar. This webinar is going to answer any questions or answers that you might have after going through this this training that I've put together. You're also going to have what's called a VIP affiliate status. You see, I'm going to let you offer this to people because you know a lot of times when you go to the movies and you refer someone, you don't get paid off of that, right? Well, since you are a product of the product, I'm going to give you a chance to earn 30% commission instant to your PayPal account for referring every person to this. And now this offer ends before midnight. But anyone that gets this offer before midnight, I'm going to send you guys free traffic. I'm going to send you guys a small portion, a portion of this same traffic that I tap into to build my list. Now here's how it works, guys. I'm going to let you get access to this for $1. Absorb it, soak it up, 48 hours. Now, why did I only do a 48-hour trial? You know the other thing that I learned in this industry? The other thing that I learned in this industry is that it's not what you learn that makes you successful, it's how quickly do you apply it. And so I know that if you don't touch this in the next 48 hours, you're probably not going to touch it and apply it to your business. So take 2 days, absorb it. Get the trial, absorb the content, and then after that, it's going to be a one-time payment of $97, but you're going to have access to all this information. That's how it works. To get access to it, simply click the Buy Now button, and it will redirect you to a buy page. And you can see here that it's only going to charge you $1, and after 2 days, you'll be billed $97. Guys, now let me just ask you something. Let's say you get this training, and let's say you don't become a rock star. Let's say you don't become a rock star, but let's say you learn how to build your list by 100 people, and it takes little to no effort. Don't you think it would be worth it? Yeah. What if you had a moment like me, where you snapped at your loved one, and you were working for 14 to 12 hours a day? What if by you getting access to this training, it just cut down your day from 12 hours a day of trying to work and doing nothing, sitting in front of the computer? Because, guys, that's what I ended up doing. I was sitting in front of the computer doing 12 hours of nothing. What if you just apply this just a little bit? What if you apply it just a little bit and it ends up saving you hours of your time? Don't you think it'd be worth it? I think so. So guys, take this, learn from it, take action now. I'll put up a link for you to get access to it right in your chat box. Let me get you this link, guys, so you can take advantage of this. I'll put this link right in your chat box. You should be able to see it here. And if you have any other questions, guys, you know how to reach me. Let me put up my email address again. It's jones@successforallbiz.com. Guys, with that being said, thank you so much for hearing me out. Thank you so much. A lot of you guys are thanking me right now, but let me thank you because I feel this huge sigh of relief. I feel this huge sigh of relief because I finally was able to share with you something I've never shared with you before. And I just have this strange feeling that I might have connected with you in a way that never before. And hopefully I just inspired you to keep going. So with that being said, guys, have a great night. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Guys, my name is Amber Jones. We are on our way up, and we would love to have you along. I will see you next time. Have a great night.